What's up, guys? So Konami released a bunch of support for Dark Lords, and now the deck is actually pretty good. It's not like a tier 2 deck or tier 1 deck. It's probably like firmly in Rogue. Like I'd say it's like White Forest level in terms of strength, but it's still good enough that it's worth playing. And so I'm gonna run through my profile and also the new cards. And like I'll show you some combos and stuff as well. So yeah, to start off with, we play 3 of this card, the Duty. This card's amazing. So on normal special summon, it summons a Dark Lord from your deck in defense position, then it locks you into fairies, and then in graveyard, you can banish this card if you control Dark Fairy Fusion to target a Dark Lord or Forbidden Quick Play in your grave and add it to your hand. So yeah, this card is amazing. We didn't have a proper 1-card combo before, now we do. It also does some cool recursion in the graveyard as well. So yeah, you have to max out on this card. It's the card you always want to start with. But yeah, really good. And what makes this card great is also there's another card that's really good to summon off this that we got, which is Go Get, another one in the new cards. So it's got the major restriction where you can only summon it once, special summon it once per turn. But when it is special summoned, you can summon 2 Dark Lord tokens, then it locks you into fairies, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can search a Dark Lord card or a Forbidden Quick Play. So this card is amazing. The thing about Dark Lords is like it's like a graveyard deck. It has a lot of discards and cards that interact with the grave, but none of the cards themselves are actually good in the grave. Like they don't do anything in the grave. So now we have a card that's actually good when it's sent to the grave. So this card increases the power of like your Ix Shells, of your Dark Lord Sens, of your Nastins and stuff, because when it goes to the graveyard, it actually does something. And the summon field is good as well for the fusion plays. So yeah, this card is great as well. You have to max out on it. It's fantastic. Then I'm still playing 3 Eggshell. You guys probably seen already, I'm playing Extrav, but yeah, we play 3 Eggshells for a couple of reasons. I think the first being that you're not always going to see both of these cards, so sometimes the Eggshell draw is going to come up and it's nice, it's more consistency. Then you also just want more mages in your deck because you can't just rely on the extra deck mage, so it's nice to have another mage name. Yeah, so the card's just pretty good. I think it's worth playing Eggshell still at 3. Then for the one-ofs, so we play 1 Morningstar, 1 Nastin, and 1 Indulge. So Indulged is like, this card was the start we got before, and this card was really bad before, in my opinion. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But now this card is okay. Like, it's not supreme, but I think this card does 2 things. Firstly, this card lets you play around Nib, which is really cool. This card lets you play around evenly, which is really cool. And also, because of Dark Lord Dance, this is now one of the few cards in Dark Lords, not one of the few, yeah, other than Dejuti and I guess Banishment by proxy, this is one of the few cards that can get you to Evening Star by itself. No other Dark Lord card other than Dejuti can do that, which is really good. Like, it means that this card, even when you normal summon it, it's quite nice, but obviously you're usually wanting to summon it off Dejuti. So I think it's worth playing, and we don't have an abundance of normal summons. I think if we had like 5 normal summons that I could play already, then I wouldn't necessarily need this, but we don't, so you might as well play it. I think it's quite good. Play the 1 Nastin again. It's just having more mage names. Like it does come up sometimes. I find having an extra mage name, especially because you have to banish them, so I like having another mage name that I can summon. I play this over Amdusk because it's also occasionally kind of cool when you have this plus like a Rebellion or whatever in hand. You can just summon this and then like straight away trigger Rebellion or Banishment or what have you. So it does come up a little bit. If you want, you can play Amdusk instead. And if you're playing Ukabark, I don't play it anymore, but if you're one of the people who still plays Ukabark, I would definitely recommend playing Amdusk over Nastin. But yeah, another nice thing is Indulge summons 2 monsters of different levels. And so this is 7 and this is 6. If you play Amdusk, you can't summon Get and Amdusk, so that's another thing. But yeah, I think it's quite good. Then we play the 1 Morningstar. So I didn't used to like this card. I used to think the nuke was... So you play this because when you fusion summon first Dark Lord, Morningstar blows it with Morningstar, it blows up your entire opponent's board. And I used to think it wouldn't work, but I found that no one knows how to really play around it, and it's just hard to play around as well. So I think this card is fantastic. And yes, it's a brick, but again, yeah, it's part and parcel. It's like it raises your ceiling high enough that it's worth it. Its effect to like shoot a bunch of Dark Lords out of the deck occasionally comes up in like turn 2s and 3s, not that often, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Then we play 3 Dawn Angel Cambi. So this card is and Nightshade is just basically they're just more copies of Dejuti. Like they start your combo, but you start with Condemned instead of Dejuti, so it's basically the same thing. But these are really nice just because obviously it doesn't come seeing your normal summon, and even if you start with Nightshade by herself isn't full combo, but Nightshade plus pretty much any Dark Lord card is. So yeah, it's just a nice little engine to have in your deck, and it's more fairies because you play the best fairy card, one of the best fairy cards, Herald of Orange Light. This card's fantastic. It's just Gamma. I've seen some people playing like Green Light and stuff. I don't think they're worth playing personally. I think if Eva was a better card and there was other good low level fairies we could play, maybe it could get away with like an Eva build. But Herald of Orange Light, definitely worth it. It's one of the few cards in the format that interacts with like 5 mana and stuff as well, which is nice. Helps you play around Nib. This card's absolutely crazy. Play 3 Filwalker's broken, play 3 Ashkan's broken. Then for your Darklord spells, we've got obviously the 3 Banishment, 1 Contact, 1 Dance. So Banishment, it's just another Rota, it's great. So again, you don't have a lot of starters, and so often this is going to be searching your duty or whatever. But yeah, this card is just really good. And then obviously you can copy it with your Darklords, and you can copy it and engrave your Darklords. Contact, you only ever need 1. Some people play 2 or 3, but yeah, just play 1. You don't need more than 1. And Dance, which is a new fusion spell. So this is another one of the new cards. It's Miracle Fusion, so banishes monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard as materials to summon. The monster also gets pushed by 1k, which is big. And if you're summoning a Darklord Fusion, you can use your opponent's monsters. So this card is great, obviously, because you can like link off the cards and then banish them from grave, so you're getting double value. Makes the monsters big, and that's also another thing that's nice. This deck doesn't struggle to out like Liger and shit, because I mean, first Darklord's going to get to 5k, Evening Star's going to get to 4k, and these cards can't get targeted. So it's just absolutely fantastic. And then in the mirror, this card is crazy. In the mirror, you always go second because of this card. It's just so good. Yeah, really good card. And then for the traps, the Darklord traps anyway, I play 1 Rebellion and 1 Sanctified. Yeah, I just don't think any of the others are worth playing. Enchantment is just, I don't know, like, I haven't found a scenario yet where I feel like Enchantment was like really a game changer. And Sanctified, I think, is super important because you actually do pay a lot of life point costs, and negating effects is really useful. So yeah, like I just think it's just a hard, easy choice for these two right now. Then in terms of like other non-engines, so play the 1 called by. It's broken, you have to play it right now. Free Droplet. Droplet's just too broken in this deck. I know there's Crown as well. I don't really like Crown personally. I think that if you're playing like Drake or something, it's good. I think in this deck it's kind of mid, because like going first, I don't think it really increases your win percent that much, because like it's not that hard to play through it. Like most decks don't lose to you crowning them at the moment. If like we still had like Yummy, if Malice was still a thing, though even Malice I don't think really loses to this. But like those decks, it would be a bit better, but against Dracotel, this is not that good. It's only good if they pretty much only open 5 mana, no other spell, no other Albaz. Against Radiant Typhoon, it's just not that good. So like, yeah, I don't really like this card. And then also going second, I think is a bit mid, because you can't kill them that easily, because you can't destroy the card, you can't do anything to the card, can't tribute the card. And if they were playing like Yummy and they're ending on like a tiny ass Snatchy, then yeah, I can swing with a massive Evening Star or something. But you're just probably not killing them, and your deck doesn't gain that much advantage. So I just think this card's bad. Maybe if you play Nurgle, for example, so you have Piercing, then maybe, I don't know. But I don't think this card is worth it at the moment. And like, yeah, so it's not good second or first, but yeah, I don't get that at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, 3 Droplet because it's broken. It's got like, I've gone back and forth between playing 3 and playing 1. I think there's different ways you can play Darklord. You can, if you want, you could play like 1 Droplet and be like, focus more on hand traps in the main. So you could play like Bells, Drolls, Nibs. I don't think that's actually terrible. Like, I think those cards are good, and they accomplish a similar thing to Droplet, because especially in the Dracotel matchup, you can Ash or Bell their Flame, and so like your card still resolves. But again, Darklord's hand economy isn't amazing, so I don't really want to play too many hand traps. And the nice thing about Droplets obviously is I can like move my Dejuti off board to dodge imperms. I can like move cards from my hand, like I move Golgate to the grave and stuff, like just little things like that. So yeah, really like this card. I'll talk about Impulse first. Impulse is just broken because yeah, just hits a lot of cards decks this format, and your deck is mainly dark. I don't care that I play Herald and can be like, it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't come up enough where these two conflict. So this card is just really good. I think this is another problem I have with the variants, like, because a lot of the variants you can't replay Impulse. But yeah, this card is just too broken. If your deck is a deck that should be able to play Impulse, make it be able to play Impulse. Like, otherwise, what's the point of playing it? And then Extrav. So the reason why I go with Extrav, and this is, I think most of the Darklord variants, like Melodious and stuff, are just kind of trash. I've tested them a lot, but the problem is they just don't actually accomplish what you want it to accomplish. So in Darklords, you have two problems. Firstly, you don't have a lot of actual starters. You only really have one true starter. Every other starter is just going to get you probably to this card to start your combo. This is one card combos I'm talking. And so in your actual combo as well, the second problem is that Go Get is probably the choke point. It's not always. Again, if you open some specific 2-card combos, 3-card combos, it's not. But you're gonna usually normal summon this, somehow get Go It to grave, and try and search dance. That's the route that this set plays. And so these two are a choke point, and none of the engines do anything to make these choke points better. Melodious, you can put up a the bounce one first, so you get a free search with no normal summon, and you put up that bounce monster as well, which is kind of cute. You've got an interruption stuff off the card, but it hasn't done anything to make it easier to resolve Go Get or dance. It's done nothing. You can play engines like Azamina, or you could play like Branded. I actually think Despia is probably the only exception to this. Like Despia actually does, because you can play Ad Lib or Dramaturge. You can add other big fairies to play through it. But basically, most of your variants are not going to stop the choke point of these two cards. And so for me, they're not actually making my deck more consistent. They're just making me, they're just making me get to a starter more often, I guess, which is more consistent. They're not making me increase my win percentage. So I think most of those variants are bad. And the scenarios where you win in this deck are when you see your droplet, when you see your impulse, when you see your cold buy, when you see your herald. Like you don't need to overcomplicate, and Extrav does that, right? Extrav just gives you 2 cards. It's just hard to beat that. Now it does conflict with Ixchel, but I'd rather resolve Extrav than Ixchel, because Ixchel have to discard card for, and that's pretty much the only card it conflicts with. So it's like Extrav, I banish 6 cards, 6 cards make straight don't matter, and then they ash it safe. Now they haven't got ash for the duty, and also I've only lost 1 card, whereas Ixchel, it's like I've discarded 2 and then the ash it. That's way more painful, unless I've discarded Go Get specifically. So yeah, I think Extract is really good, and I think the extract doesn't matter. You get locked so much in this deck that the extract doesn't really matter. You just play 3 of all the things that actually matter. So yeah, talking about that, we play 3 Bloom. This is just for the Trickstar combo, because obviously like Dawn Angel summons Nightshade, Link into Bloom, and then Link into Condemn for combo. Play 3 Condemn, same thing, because for your combo, 3 First and 3 Evening. Again, they're just all really good cards. And Evening, I'll quickly talk about Evening. This is another one of the new cards. So your opponent can't target this, which is amazing. Then when it's fusion summons, it sets 2 Darklord cards from the deck. Again, this card is just so hard to interact with, because they can't Ash this, they can't Bell this, they can't Veiler this, they can't Imperm this. Like, they need to have like a Droplet or like a Hard Negate. Otherwise, they're doing nothing to this card, especially when you're going first. So it's just such a good card. Then also it's got the Mage Lord Darklord effect to copy the effect as well. So it's just, yeah, this card is fantastic. Other than the Darklord stuff on the side, like, I guess we play first, because first is kind of cool, like it nukes the board and all that, which is great. We play 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Secretarian, and 1 Herald. And so before, my deck had like more Super Poly tugs and stuff, but I've just found that Super Poly is not actually that good this format. Like, it's not bad, but it's not as good as I thought it was. So the problem is, like, against Dracotel, Secretarian doesn't actually win the game a lot of the time, because what's going to happen is Secretarian only stops special summoned spellcasters or dragons, right? So it won't stop them using any of their spellcasters in grave, which means a lot of the times you Secretary on them and then they just fuse, and then they use Pan or Malulu to just negate your Secretary on and get around it. And like, you can't really force them like play their game first. Dracotel has a lot of agency where they can make you play into their board before using it. So yeah, it's just it's very low impact, I found, against them a lot of the time. Like, it's nice to have, but I haven't found it to be the reason why I win that matchup often. It's pretty good into Branded, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. Mud Dragon is nice because of the targeting thing, but you have targeting protection in this deck a lot. And the decks that lose, again, there's not that many decks that lose to getting super polyed right now, because a lot of them just bring the monsters back out. So like Radiant Typhoon, you super poly the relevant ones, which is Ponix and I don't know, is it Golem, whatever it's called. So yeah, it's this one, Phonix, Phonix and where's the guy? Varun are like the 2 cards, but these can both summon themselves back from the grave, and Radiant Typhoon have infinite quick plays. So you haven't done anything if you super poly these cards either, unless you kill them then and there. It does have some validity, because sometimes you can like super poly to get your combo started, but that's just not a good reason to play super poly. So yeah, this card's not bad, but it was my main. Then I just found that again, it wasn't increasing my win percent, so I didn't like it. And so now it's inside, and I can see a world where it even leaves, and maybe I'll put in like Fallen the Virtuous or something. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. But yeah, so that's Super and Herald. Herald is great. I only play one because I don't always end on it, but yeah, it is quite nice. Then for the side deck, obviously we play 3 Perulia. This card is fantastic. Like it's main deckable, to be honest. It's just that these cards I think are better against the top decks. But this card it's just so good. Fu is the Molchamis are broken. Super we talked about. Evenly I think is also really good. Usually Evenly is terrible, but basically like a lot of the top decks right now put a bunch of cards on board that are like actually like engine requirements as well. And then like they don't put any spell and trap negates on the board, so you just evenly them and then they lose, which is quite nice. So yeah, I actually do kind of like this card. Their Magic Deflector is just for Radiant Typhoon. The main reason I like this is just because I like it's like debarrier and shit, right? Where you just activate this and then you don't have to worry about something for the rest of the turn. Like I like Floodgates that are lingering because they're just my broken ones. But this is like a maybe. I would say like in this side deck, Evenly and Molchami I think are mandatory. Everything else I'm still working out, but this is what I'm using for them right now. Rivalry and Gozen I think are really good because Gozen is just fantastic into Dracotel. Even Rivalry is not bad into Dracotel because they play 2 types and they play a bunch of attributes. But the real reason why it's broken, even if the deck doesn't, is Indulged. Obviously, you can get to Indulge really easy. You put a card on their board, you flip one of these, and it's just game. You've played around evenly. You've stopped them from putting a card on board. And yes, they can use Fallen the Virtuous and all of that to out it, but yeah, it doesn't mean this card is bad just because it's an out to it. So I think these cards are good if you play Indulged, and then Solemn because it's broken. So yeah, that's my list. It's at 42. I would really rather be at 40, but right now I can't find anything to leave, and I count Extrav as a -1 card because obviously it draws 2. So this is at 42. I'm treating it really like it's at 39. Yeah, this is the list so far. So just to quickly show you 2 combos that you're really going to go into, and I don't usually like showing combos just because like you can't follow a combo properly in a game, right? Like what happens in a game is really going to be determined by what your opponent has and what your opening hand is. But just to show you the potential, so there's 2 like really relevant combos you need to know with the duty. One that plays around draw and one that plays around nib. If you want to play around nib with this, you have to play Indulged. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to play around nib for your 1-card combo, Indulge is the only way to do it. If you want to play around draw, you don't need it. So you normal summon the duty. The duty is going to summon out Indulged, and then here Indulged is going to add going to special summon. Where is it at? The Golgo get to my hand, and then any name, doesn't really matter, to their side of the field. Then so this is 1, 2, 3 summons. Then you go into your Condemned, and then you use Condemned's effect. And Condemned can either add to hand or dump. So you dump here. You dump anything. Doesn't really matter what you dump. Trigger Golgo get Engrave. It's going to add your Darklord Dance to hand. So you're at 4 summons now. You activate Dance. You banish 2 names. So again, depends on what happens. Like I wouldn't, if I was planning to leave the card on their board, then I could banish the Nastin or whatever. But yeah, I'm just showing you a combo. So we're going to banish those 2, summon Evening Star, and then use Evening Star's effect on summon and set 2 cards. So again here, because we're like trying to play around nib, you would set banishment and then search a bit. So, or you can just set contact straight up. And I usually set Rebellion against most decks. I think Dracotel's probably the only deck where I set Sanctified. But you set these, you're going to activate banishment and search twice. So you're going to search for Contact and Morningstar. And so here, if your opponent nibs you, it does. And this is how the way you beat nib obviously is you hold the contact, you don't use it. Because if your opponent nibs you here, like you just revive Evening Star and nothing's changed and everything's looking all gravy. So this is how you play around nib. And so in this scenario, obviously you've got your Dark Rebellion, which you send, and you can pop their board, or you've got Evening Star to nuke their whole board. So it's 2 interruptions, but you haven't lost a nib, and this is just off 1 card. But if you wanted to extend further in this combo, sorry, this should be back in deck. Extend further in this combo, obviously you can use your contact here. So now I have played into Nib. So unless you have like a Herald or they have a card on board and you have an Impulse, it's not necessarily the right thing to go this far. But yeah, summon another body. Herald or Mirage Lights, and then now you've got a Spell and Trap Negate on top of having the board nuke as well. So you've just added basically 2 interruptions to your board because you can duplicate your Rebellion. So that's the first combo. And again, that's just to play around Nib, and then the kind of extension if you decide not to play around Nib. And then to play around Droll with the Juti, it's a little bit different. So, and I would argue that this format, like, I'm not that scared of Nib. I've played probably about 40 games and I haven't been nibbed once. Like, no one's really playing it at the moment. So I would argue that you don't need to if you don't want to. But yeah, you go to Juti, and Juti is going to summon Golgoget, and then you're going to trigger Golgoget here, and he's going to summon 2 cards. So you summoned 4 times already, and then your next summon is going to play straight into Nib. Because obviously now you trigger Golgoget here, you're at summon 5. But what's nice about this combo is if you have a level 6 or higher Darklord in your hand, then you're not losing to Nib. This combo doesn't lose to Nib because you have a level 6 engraver and you have a level 6 in hand. You can just use those. But yeah, so my opponent doesn't nib here. And I played around Droll as well, by the way, obviously, because my only search was Darklord Dance. So then you summon your Evening Star. Your Evening Star is going to use its effect. And again, you're going to set whatever 2 you want. If you're trying to play, if you're still playing around Droll, you just set contact directly. But we're going to show the extension where you haven't had to play around Droll. So then we're going to immediately use Banishment. Add contact. And we're going to duplicate Banishment and add one of the mages or Morning Star. It doesn't matter because you haven't used Condemned here. So you use Condemned at this point to add the Morning Star to your hand if you do play Morning Star. And then you use Contact, Revive Contact, Special Summon Shell. And then obviously if you want the Herald, you can use the Contact, or you can just leave it engrave. So like you can use the Contact here, summon on Herald instead. So yeah, and then you still have the nuke, but you have a bit more. So again, that combo played around Droll, but then we played into Nib. But those are the 2 main relevant combos you need to know. Like, again, there's a lot of kind of janky 2-card combos and stuff, and so just a few things to keep in mind with this deck that I think are quite relevant. So let me just bring some cards out to show you guys. Yeah, that's the example I'll use Banishment and Condemned. So the first thing to keep in mind is that the way your Darklord spells monsters work in terms of copying the effect is like Verte, where they target the spell in the grave and they attempt to shuffle the spell back, and then if that is successful, they resolve. So if this card goes missing, so if they banish it, this won't resolve because it says that's target. It says apply that target's effect. And so it says that's target. If the card's gone, it will no longer apply the effect. Another thing as well is that if they can bell, so all of your Mage Lord effects can be belled, but for example, they can't ash. So if I activate Banishment normally, they can ash that. If I activate Ixchel to copy Banishment, they can't ash that, but they can bell that. Not only that, but in general, Darklord spells and traps don't target. So Contact does not target when it reborns. Sanctified does not target when it negates. Rebellion does not target when it reborns. Sorry, when it pops. So yeah, in general, Darklord spells and traps do not target. Then Morningstar, when you normal summon him, even if you normal summon using Condemned Darklord, it still counts as a tribute summon. And so you still get to use his effect and tribute a bunch of cards from the deck. Indulged, you have to be careful because she has an interesting lock. So when you use Indulged, she doesn't lock you into fairy monsters in terms of special summoning. She locks you into fairy monster effects. So you can't ash or nib or whatever. I don't know. Other than ash, I can't actually think of any other relevant monster effects you'd be using on your turn. But yeah, you just have to be careful with Indulge. She does lock into fairy monster effects, which is really important. The duty, remember that you can banish him from graveyard to add back your Darklord cards on forbidden quick plays. This is so big. Like I've played a few mirrors, and this is probably one of the biggest things that I see people just forgetting to do, because you just have so much advantage of that, which is crazy. So you always have to remember to be adding your cards back. Yeah. Oh, actually, and I'll show you just one more thing as well, which is Dawn Angel Kalimba combo. And even this, I'll be honest, or can be, I said Kalimba. I'll be honest, I don't know this combo perfectly off the top of my head. I don't think it matters that much, but the idea basically of this combo is that you summon Camby summons Nightshade. Nightshade goes into bloom, and then she resummons herself, so then you link both of these off, go into condemned. I won't say, yeah, I've already messed up the combo, because obviously with this combo you need any blank card in your hand. But so we discard the blank card to add the duty, and then it's basically your normal Darklord combo. Yeah, obviously this combo plays into everything. It plays into nib, it plays into roll, but you've got another star, so you would just do your standard kind of big boy Darklord combo. But what's nice about this combo versus the other one is that you have already got condemned, so you can make different things. So for example, yeah, go into Herald, and then Golgotha to search Dance, use Dance's effects, banish these two to get Darklord Evening Star's effect to set your cards. So you set your Rebellion and you set your Banishment. Then you're going to do your double search here to get your Contact plus Morningstar, yeah, or Contact plus Make Sure, depending on what I'm trying to achieve. So I add my Morningstar. Now I add my Contact, and then yeah, so you've kind of got a nice board where you've got Spell and Trap Negate, you've got the Rebellion, send a card, you can spin this board and you go up. There's just no point really summoning anything back here, because surely you're great. But that's the Dawn Angel Camby combo, which is also pretty good. Yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. I have a lot of gameplay coming out. I've been playing the heck out of this deck. I do think it's pretty nice. But yeah, stay tuned for more. Talk soon.